Welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. And today is World Domination Wednesday, where we talk about you and your customer. On today's show, we'll be talking about the different customer buying styles, so to give you an idea on that there is different buying styles for customers that you have to consider. And today we'll be also talking about who I am. Who am I? I'm Jane Gardner, and I work with my husband in a structural engineering firm in Western Canada, and I have been on the internet for about 3 years to help others with their business. So let's get started on the training. We've been looking at who are your customers. And who are your customers? Well, everyone is not your customer. As Seth Godin says, you have your customers who they want what your solution is to their problem, or they want your solution to fulfill their desire, and they're willing to spend money on it. Previously, we've looked at who is your ideal customer, and we have a training for that at jgtips.com/customer profile, because you need to know what your business solves. What is your problems that you solve for your customers, and who are your customers who need your solution? So you have to define your ideal customer profile, and then how to use your research to craft your messages and use tracking tools to see if you're measuring your success at contacting your ideal customers. So that's 6 days of training with worksheets and research for you to develop your ideal customer profile at jgtips.com/customer profile. And as you know, there's over 3.3 billion internet users online today, and you should be able to do messaging that will contact your ideal customers as well as other customers. So we have to figure out first who is your customer, and then define them and figure out what they want and get going selling it to them. So first off, we had a look at in the last couple of months, who is your customer? You know who are your ideal customers. You know what they want that you can give them. You know where to find your ideal customer. You know when and how they like to buy. And then you also know that there's an ideal customer experience. We had a look at that. And you know how to provide some of the features of an ideal customer experience. For those who missed those episodes, you can catch up on them at jgtips.com/YouTube. So we've been now discussing how to convert prospects into customers, because we've done our research, we've looked at our demographics, we've looked at the personality, attitudes, culture, and values of our ideal customers, and looked through media to find them in magazines, websites, social media, government research, and we looked at their purchasing behavior, and when do they like to buy, and what is their strategy as far as buying, what are they looking for, and what are they using currently, and who are our competitors. We've done all our research, we know who our customers are, but was also knowing who your ideal customers are is great, because then you can convert them easier into buying what you have to sell, because ideally you match your customer in terms of their need. But of course you can also sell to other people as well. For example, you could have a young mom who wants to earn some extra income by doing a business, and I could have a mature lady who is looking to start her own business to make some extra revenue for traveling, as well as a young woman who is working for someone else and tired of it and would like to start her own business. Well, I could use that as the ideal and of wanting to learn a new business. For example, they may be all my customers, depending on what I want to give them as a service. And there is a secret to understanding the variety of customers and the variety of customer buying styles, and whether a prospect can be your customer. The secret is knowing their personality and the personal style that they have, as well as their buying style. I am a CRG Consulting Resource Group associate, and I learned how to figure out through personality assessments what is the variety of customer buying styles, as well as the variety of salespeople selling style, and also, of course, personal style through education and training. And it is something that can make it easier for you to sell, as well as for you to connect with others who will buy from you. According to CRG, there's a personality development factors model. When you are born, you have certain personal style preferences in your body, and then you have your grow up, you learn your self-worth, and the environment affects you, as well as your social teachers and your emotional anchors, negative experiences as well as positive experiences, as well as your health and your genetics and your spiritual factors all make you the whole person that you are. But underneath it all, there is certain ways that we all interact. It's called the four spirits, according to Aristotle. But they may be all your customers because, according to the personality development factors model, each person has their 4 personal style factors in them. It's called the behavioral action factor, the interpersonal harmony factor, your cognitive analysis factor, and the effective or expressive factor, but at different levels of each, depending on your life experiences, affect you to make up your personality. However, there are traits to the 4 personal styles which can be detected with knowledge and experience, such that you can adapt to another person's personal style, or their buying style, or their selling style, in order to have a better relationship with people. Now, we went over last week the traditional versus the customer-focused selling process, and customer-focused selling process includes receiving the person to your experience, whether it's your store or your internet website, etc., and then discovering what that person needs as a prospect, and needs in terms of what they want and their needs and wants, and you confirm whether those are really what they need and want. And then you make a presentation which tells them that you can fulfill their needs or wants, and that prospect then becomes a customer by purchasing whatever solution you have. And there's confirmation then, of course, that yes, that is what they wanted. And the most important part of the customer-focused selling process is that there's follow-up. So you develop a relationship with that customer in terms of maybe putting them on a mailing list and mailing to them occasionally, or even one-on-one, and having follow-up and get feedback later on what success they had with the purchase for your business solution. So that's the customer-focused selling process. And certainly now with the trends for mobile phones to be used when people are making decisions on buying and selling, this customer-focused selling process and certainly empowers the customer in terms of they are able to go out and on the internet look and make searches for whether they're looking for price, for value, or for specifics, or for just something that they enjoy. They can do a search on the internet and find what they want. So now, as a seller, you have to be able to adapt to the customer. And so what this does in terms of theory is makes you a better salesperson. So when you're working with customers, your personal way of viewing the environment around you and reacting to it is the foundation of your sales style. And your sales style is unique from others. Mine is unique from someone else, certainly. And everybody's sales style is unique. But there are certain factors within your sales style which people can recognize if you have the training you need. However, you can adapt and shift your sales or buying style to match your clients' which builds credibility and trust with them and makes it easier for you to have a selling and buying process with them. So there are 4 different buying styles, of which each of us has one more dominant in our personality than someone else. Detecting a person's buying style, you can be more successful as a salesperson with training. So we're going to just go over the 4 different types of ideas of being what kind of customer they are. Obviously, there is a variety of ranges in terms of what you are as a person in terms of buying or selling. And certainly with more training, you could learn how to detect that further. But I think just doing these 4 customers, you'll get an idea how different customers can be when buying from you, and how you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to react according to what they are saying, as well as what they are doing and who they are. So anyway, let's get on with the customers. We'll just do 4. So we have customer A, and their dominant buying style is an action buying style. So they come to your business and they want summarized facts, and they want a big picture of what the solution will be for what they are looking for. And they want you to respect their judgment, because they've come with facts, they've done their research, and they know what they want, and they want you to give it to them. And they get upset when the salesperson is too slow in the sales process. So if the salesperson decides they're going to go over all the details about the product, then they get kind of tired and want him or her to get on with it, because they already know what their judgment is on what they want to buy. And the salesman talks too much. These can also irritate them, as well as the salesperson trying to control the discussion. So, for example, if this buyer comes to your business looking for your solution, but you decide to control what you want to say about the product and don't give them the opportunity to ask the questions they know they want to ask, and then, of course, change the discussion on them, they get rather irritated. So this irritation, of course, as you know, with any time you've done selling, becomes a big issue, and they will leave without buying. But anyway, that's one customer. And now we have another customer whose dominant buying style is analytical. They love the detailed specifications and research that they know they've done as well. They expect you to know all the detailed information about the product or service, and they want you to be able to say to them, well, what do you think? So they want you to respect them and ask for their opinion of what they thought might be the solution, and whether your solution is what they needed. And they get upset when the salesman moves ahead too quickly in their discussion. So the salesman doesn't answer all the questions about the solution, for example, and just rushes them and doesn't give them time to think about what you are telling them. Because there's also a brain factor when it comes to that we can go into at another time if you take the training, in terms of how we react to the environment that we are in. And the salesman becomes too personal with them. Some people don't like that kind of personal type of thing where they ask how they're doing, or ask things that really have no relevancy to what solution they're discussing. So there's another customer for you, totally different from customer A. And now we have another customer C, and their dominant buying style is harmony. They want you to make them feel important and effective, and they want you to be patient during the process. They may ask you how you're doing because they enjoy interaction with people, and they get upset when a salesperson may get angry or mean in terms of discussing even someone else in the office, for example. Doesn't have to be being mean to someone who's in harmony, because the interpersonal dominant buying style it's the relationship that's important to, as well as making contact with another person. So they don't like it when the salesperson rushes them into making a decision. And they don't like it when the salesperson is judgmental of them or of other people. So there's another customer for you, and our last customer. And of course, we're all different levels of all this buying styles, but for this customer D, their dominant buying style is expressive, and they listen and give them chance to speak. So you have to be willing to listen to what they want to say and give them a chance to speak, even if it's something about the weather or why they thought the solution was so great, and maybe what the problems they're having with it, or what the problems they're having in life. And sometimes they tend to wander off into wanting to know more about you rather than the solution. And they want you to take care of the details for them. They're not really interested in the details of the solution. They just want to know that it is the solution, that it will give them the return on investment. So they get upset when the salesperson is too salesy, when they're trying to close and using all those kind of salesy type of terminology, and they're not really interacting with the person but just doing their sales spiel. That's a real turnoff for them. And it's a real turnoff for them when the salesperson's not interested in them personally as well. So if the salesperson doesn't even ask, why did you come into the store today, and how you feeling, or even sometimes if they don't even acknowledge the children you bring in, your children that you bring in with you because you had to, and interact with them, sometimes that can be taken very personal by the expressive. And they, of course, also don't like the salesperson to be judgmental and talk down to them. So they always have to be acknowledged for their abilities, and also just very sensitive about not being as experienced as a salesperson, maybe in knowing what they need as a solution. So there you go. There's about 4 different types of customers. I bet you didn't know there was different buying styles, but there are as well. There's different sales styles, but that's for another day. And well, it's not for another day. I think we'll just go on to something else next week. But this is quite important in terms of when you're selling. I think last week I discussed a strategy call if you're talking to someone on the phone or in person or even on Skype. Knowing what their buying style is, as well as knowing what your sales styles is, you can shift your sales style to work with their buying style in order to have a more successful relationship and possibly have more buying and making them feel worthy enough to buy it, as well as you be credible enough because they know, like, and trust you. So that's just something I wanted to go over again, because it's obviously when you're talking about customers, it can be very important in terms of buying and selling. And I think you probably know, if you've listened to me before, I have an offer for you in your sales style at jgtips.com/pstyle, PSTYLE. And in that program, we go and you get an assessment done at CRG. It's crgleader.com is the website, where you look at your personal style as well as your sales style. It's a matter of looking at basically, believe it or not, words and ranking them in terms of what you think you are. And you get a report which tells you what kind of buying style you have, and as well as what kind of selling style you have. And then there's training on becoming more customer focused in your selling and establishing the readiness and willingness levels of being able to change, whether it's to change you or to change your customers, and understanding credibility and how it is given, because it's given, is people know, like, and trust you. So there are certain things that you have to do in order to have it given to you as that you are a credible person. And of course, being credible, you can sell much easier. Identifying your preferred selling style, as well as determining a customer buying style and how you can shift and be able to have a stronger relationship, and because you can adapt to their buying style using your selling style that they find more attractive. And of course, knowing all these things and how to do it, we're creating an action plan in terms of making you a more successful salesperson. So that's at jgtips.com/pstyle. It's a beta offer. I'm looking for people who are willing to come in and work with me and do the course and train, and find that then when they come out, they'll have an action plan as to how they can learn how to sell and buy what their selling and buying style is. So that's at jgtips.com/pstyle. So thank you for listening. I'm not too sure if I'm going to go any further on this, because I think it's so important that knowing your customer's buying style, as well as knowing what your selling style is and how you're going to have to adapt and change your selling style if you want to work with certain customers, is very important in your business. Even if you don't have personal contact with customers, there are ways that you can create a sales page that has the things that reacts and helps the different customer buying styles to interact with your sales page and get the information that they want to, that they enjoy in terms of getting a sale from them. So this is Jane Gardner, and I'll have to think about what I'll be talking about next week, because this is so important that I can't go any further with it without you having a personal style assessment done at crgleader.com, which I have done, of course. So we'll talk about probably customer service again next week. Thank you for listening. This is Jane Gardner.